And whether you like it or not, whatever type of woman that you want to be with, you have to study her. My best advice from the jump, from the get-go, is go for a woman that's compatible with you. I'm not saying y'all have to have the exact same problems, but I'm saying, if you work at Starbucks, right? Don't go for a girl that used to work at Magic City. Hey, how's it going? This is Augustus from Ask a Wise Guy, and I'm about to get wise with you. Today I'm gonna really get wise with you today. This one we're gonna talk about something that everyone really likes, talking about. Everyone is really on this right now, and right now it's the beauty of women. I'll just title it that. But the beauty of women, and not just on the beauty. This isn't one of those videos where I would just build women up or whatever. This is for the fellas and ladies alike, so both parties could listen in on this one. But I'm gonna talk about, you know, just the wisdom, you know, the wise ways of going about the beauty of women, because, you know, there's a lot of power that comes with beauty. And, you know, for example, you could take you could take an Easter egg, right? And that's not really gonna mean much to you. You know, it's just an egg with a little bit of paint on it. But then you could take a Fabergé egg, and you're putting that on the column, or you're throwing that in on your desk. You know, you're displaying it, making sure that anyone that comes into that room sees that egg. You know, if it's one of your kids' Easter egg, you'll probably just throw it in the drawer, or, oh honey, that's nice, and then throw it in the drawer, right? But there's a value in beauty, and a lot of power in it. See, so that's what we're gonna address here. Before I, get into the wisdom part of this, I do want to get into the word, so that you guys will know that I'm not just speaking out the side of my neck. All right. 2 Samuel 11. We're gonna go ahead and start there. And once you get there, find a way to bookmark it. Keep your finger there, because we're gonna read a quick passage. Then we're gonna kind of jump around a little bit. All right. 2 Samuel 11. You can pause this if you're trying to get there. All right. 11:2. And it came to pass in the evening tide, or in the evening, that David arose from off his bed. Now, King David, that's a well-respected character in the Bible. David arose off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house, being his house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. All right, now let's stop there. This is the Bible that we're reading from. This isn't a romantic novel. This isn't a fictional romance novel. So if this holy book is throwing something like that in here, there has to be a reason. Either A, she was extremely beautiful to the point that the Bible just had to throw that in there, or because her beauty had a lot to do with the scenario. All right, let's keep your finger there. We're gonna go ahead and go to. I need to keep my finger there too. We see. We're gonna go ahead and go to Matthew 5 already. Let's see. Matthew 5. All right, now remember that point there. Her beauty had a lot to do with this situation. All right, Matthew 5:27. Now this is Jesus talking. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, you should not commit adultery, or thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. All right. And I might as well keep reading. And if your right eye offend you, pluck it out and cast it from you, or cast it away. For it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body should be cast into hell. All right. So, before I proceed, I'm not telling anyone to take any eyes out or anything. All right. There's been one gentleman that has took this scripture literally, and he actually gorged his eye out. But let's not forget, this wasn't a wise man. He was a has-been singer that, a one-hit wonder has-been singer that has been sent to jail on, I forgot which charges, but he obviously went crazy. That's the moral of that story. But Jesus is making a point here. That was just an analogy. All right. So back to 2 Samuel 11. All right. Now let me see. All right, verse 3. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, "It is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" All right. I'll just put it like this: the Hittites were pretty much they were, if not Ethiopian, they were cousins of the Ethiopians. They were a cousin tribe of the Cushites. All right, and Cush in early translation translates to be Ethiopian. All right, let's keep going. Let me see. So this was, this Bathsheba, a beautiful Ethiopian woman here. All right, and David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned into her house. All right. Long story short, this is the wife of one of King David's main soldiers. The wife of one of King David's main soldiers. Now, mind you, this is one of the most loyal men in the Bible around this time. One of the most loyal men in the land. All right, and he does this loyal thing. His mentor, which was King Saul, he was he went a little senile at one time. He would go into the Lord, then he'll go into witchcraft. He'll go to the Lord, then he'll go to witchcraft. He was a real yo-yo, but he hasn't done anything like this. See, and what this goes back to is what Jesus was talking about. Jesus knew what he was saying. He said, look, if you look at a woman with this in your heart, you've already committed adultery with her. You might as well keep going. It wouldn't matter, because in your heart you done messed up already. You gotta get your heart together. So that's the heavy stuff, all right. But let's modernize this, all right.
Petah Parka.
Today, let's keep it real. Our women, they're looking. Women have always been beautiful, but today women know how to really bring out their beauty. They really know how to make their beauty pop, if you know what I mean. They're doing everything in the book that they can do to, bring their beauty out. And a lot of these things come across as provocative and very seductive, very promiscuous, right?
Petah Parka.
To tell you the truth, a lot of these things have already been done in different cultures, and it's the norm out there. See, but when it's done out here, it's like, oh wow, that's a little much, And the reason why is because the heart of the beholder. There's certain dances that our women are doing now, and a lot of people aren't used to them, and they're really whoa, wait a minute, whoa, because of the eye of the beholder. See, and
Petah Parka.
you go to magazines, you go to TV shows, you go to the movies. Sex is being portrayed everywhere. You see, and in different countries where the women, you go to a beach, there will be beaches where women will actually be topless. right? In different countries. And, you know, no one thinks anything of it, because when you look at a magazine out there, you watch a movie out there, you watch a TV show out there, sex isn't really being implemented like that.
Petah Parka.
You know, that's something that's still sacred in different countries. But out here it's like a sport now. You know, it's like it's like being an athlete for men, at least. Actually, for women too. For all of us are in this one, you know. But it's like you engage in something like that, and then you talk about it like you're on the team. You know, like you've achieved something. And there's a real openness about sexuality out here that really it's not sacred anymore. It's just not sacred. See, that brings me to another point. For example, twerking. That's one that's out here, right? And to this country, that's new. That's different. We haven't seen that before. But if you go to Africa, you know, and some may say, well, you know, out here, and the way they do it out here is different. You know, no, cut it out. You're not gonna out-twerk Africans, all right? That's where it comes from. It's been out there a lot longer, all right? The difference is that when women do it out there, it's about culture. There's a meaning behind it. See, and out here, there's a meaning behind it too. It's, you know, who can I turn on? Who can I turn on? Africa is about beauty, and the woman. How can I put this? The woman glorifying and displaying her beauty. But out here is displaying her sexuality. Let's see. And I'm about to get into my point here. But I have to cover these things before I just, you know, get into that. But I'll put it like this. You could simply see a beautiful woman, right? And have a good heart and still be in the game. All right, I'm not talking about being a player, you know, or anything. No, not the player game, not the whatever game, nothing like that. I'm saying you can see a beautiful woman, still have respect for her, and have respect for yourself. They do it in different countries all the time. Some might say, oh, that's because they're used to it. Maybe. I wouldn't necessarily go with that one so much though, because beauty is beauty. You know, if a girl looks good, she looks good. Right? It doesn't matter if you grew up seeing this. You know, regardless, beauty is beauty, and you're either attracted or you're not. It's just how us men are, right? And women, you could just flip this. This goes for you as well. You know, if you see a gentleman that he has that look that, you know, you've been really curious about, you know, and he just got the swag, he just got the he got that vibe. He walks into the room, you know, and you're like, man, I hope that he comes over here and at least notices me, right? Well, you don't have to think to yourself, you know, I would definitely give him this, or I'll definitely do this with him. really doesn't have to go there. See? And for those that's listening, you might say, oh, well, why not? Well, hold on a little longer. I'm not gonna let me stay with the pace. All right. But it's like this. Going back to the fellas. All right. That's how we get caught up in a lot of trouble that we're into today. You know, say for example, you really can't escape it. If you're up on things, if you like staying up to date with things, you like if you love music, not like music, if you love music, you can't stay away from these things. See, and those very things aren't necessarily bad all of the time. Now, of course, there's some things where it's like, all right, look, they're taking it too far. They're just taking it too far. This girl's not classy. This is, you know, they need to take this off of this site or whatever, you know. But just on the surface, you can see a beautiful girl twerking, or not even that. You're at the mall, you see a beautiful girl. She's wearing some leggings, and she's really wearing those leggings, right? You don't have to think to yourself and say, man, I wonder how long it'll take me. Excuse my, you know, I'm gonna keep it real. But you don't have to see her and say, I wonder how long it'll take me to hit. What you can say is, wow, she's beautiful. I wonder what I would have to know in order to talk to a girl like that and to keep her. I wonder what it would take for me to get with a girl like that, to keep things moving afloat, for her to not be dealing with me like the rest of the women that I deal with in relationships, or that I've dealt with in relationships. Right? I wonder what I would have to know. I wonder what I would have to do in order to keep a girl like that at my house, in my home, taking care of my kids, taking care of my empire, right? And she doesn't just flip out and leave or go crazy on me. You know, that's what you can think. And there's a lot of brothers listening to this that's actually thinking this now, because they done thought so much on, you know, I wonder how long it'll take me to hit. I wonder how long it'll take me to hit. I wonder how long it'll take me to hit. You know, and by the time they done hit everybody, they don't have enough energy to study what it takes to keep a young lady. Excuse me. And ladies, you know, it's like this. I know that trends are switching up. You know, I know that it's hard to. I know that it's hard to do things the old-fashioned way, and I'm not saying that you have to. But what I'm saying is, just pay attention to what you want. Know what you want. Learn what you want. You know, I'm doing a whole series for you ladies. It's on Cleopatra, and it's showing you how to bring out that inner Cleopatra in you. And is you know, there's a lot more heavy information in there. So I advise that you check that out. But just on the surface, for this video's sake, you know, you have to pay attention to what you attract when you look a certain way, and you have to study what you want, ladies. Yes, study. I mean, you study something your whole life, whether you realize it or not. You know, naturally. No one had to teach you when you were 7 to ask for a doll so that you could mother that doll. That was natural for you. See, ladies, do you know Cleopatra? I do. And I could bet you $100 that I could see her in you too. See, in the Return of Cleopatra, we're going to cover everything that you need to know in order to bring out that Cleopatra. See, what most don't know about Cleopatra is that she was the only queen that came from Greece, was a queen in Egypt and Rome. She was sexy, smart, and let's not forget, royal. See, most women today don't believe that they deserve to be treated like a queen. Some believe that they deserve more, and some simply just want something new. But in Cleopatra, we're going to figure out exactly what it is that you're looking for and how to get it. So make sure you subscribe and click on that beautiful yellow bell so that you know the second I drop something new. Can't wait to see you there. So there's a lot of things that you're going to naturally look into, but then there's some things that you're just gonna see every time you pick up a magazine, every time you go to a movie, every time you watch a TV show, and that's gonna put something else in your mind. Because trust me, ladies, whatever you're looking for in a man today, you don't naturally want that. It was placed in your mind for you to think that that's what you want, because the media is so good at what they do. See, but if you don't want to live that life that the media doesn't care that you live or not, they just care about that paycheck, you know. So I'm off of that. But back to the fellas, you know, this is heavy information, and it's really easily applicable. You could easily apply these things. The information is really right under your nose. The answer to this stuff is right under your nose. See, and I'll use King David as an example once again. When he seen Bathsheba, you know, bathing, what do you think was going through his mind? Do you think he said, "Oh wow, she's beautiful. Let me go to one of my wives," right? Or let me find a wife, let me find out where she's from, and then get a wife from that town. This man already had a number of wives. The scripture says that he had so many wives that when he died, the people weren't sure if he was dead or not, so they laid a woman, they got a woman to lay on top of him, you know, in a sensual manner, right? And once he didn't react, it said, "Surely the king is dead." That's how much women he had in his life. That's how many wives he had in his life. And you know, he was a king, so it's not like he was marrying one and then divorcing her and then marrying. No, he was a king, so he understood what it took to please his women, to keep them in his home, right? There wasn't no baby mama drama going on at King David's palace, right? And that was a different day. Those were ancient days. See, so I'm not gonna go too far into that, but that's my just think about that. He's seen one beautiful woman bathing, and Scripture says that she was very beautiful, which means that she was extremely beautiful. And he said, "Man, I gotta find a way to hit it." See, he did not see her and say, "Wow, she's beautiful. Let me find a wife from that land. Let me find a woman that looks alongside her beauty, or along the lines of her beauty, and let me take her, as a wife. Let me take her to wife." It probably didn't even cross his mind, because he stepped out of his character for a second. And if you read on in that story, he was just losing every sense. Half of Psalms, that's one of the most respected books in the Bible, and I believe Psalms has one of the longest chapters in the Bible as well. Alright? But all of Psalms, actually most of Psalms is letters to the Lord by David, praying that the Lord delivers him for crap that he instilled on himself, based on sleeping with Bathsheba, based on that little scenario there. He did one thing, messed up one time, and he just lost ever since then. Fellas, you come on, we gotta get it together. Come on. It's not about just, seeing a beautiful woman and saying, how long it'll take me to hit. It's not about that. You see a beautiful woman, it's possible for you to still have respect for her and to have respect for yourself. See? And I know this sounds old-fashioned, but you have to think about it. You'll be in a lot less trouble. You'll be in a lot less crap, than you're in today if you thought like this. I'm speaking to those that have that see and take mentality. It's very simple. Some may say, all right, well, how can you be preaching the word and, sounds like you're condoning twerking. If she's doing it for her man, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you're out clubbing and this girl gets on the table and she just starts doing that for one, I don't think that'll be the best choice in a woman. I'm sorry, but I can't see myself seriously talking to a girl that, gets on tables and twerk for men that she don't know. I could have don't get me wrong, I could hold up a conversation with her, but to take her to my bed every night, to throw a ring on, her finger, I just can't see that. See? Now, if for me, I'm weighing that according to my purity. See? Now, if I've been with a lot of women to the point where, my rap sheet is a lot like hers, then we're compatible. But for me, it's not gonna work. If my rap sheet was like that, okay, that's a little different. See? And for those that do have a rap sheet like that, you know, you've been with so many women and now you're just trying to slow down. Well, your job isn't going to be any harder than the you know, nice guy with the glasses, you know, freckle face, you know, nerd that, you know, drinks 12 months of drinks a day and he's trying to beat Destiny 2 or whatever, you know. Your job isn't going to be any harder than his, but it's just going to be a different job. So you have to study that specific type of woman. See, that's all it really comes down to. You know, some might say, well, you know, I really don't want to go through all that. Why not? You study women all day. You already study women. You already studied a specific type of woman, the wrong type, whether you realize it or not. You know, who's your favorite rapper rapping about? See, you watch certain movies. Who are they talking about? Who are they portraying? You're studying those women. See, and whether you like it or not, whatever type of woman that you want to be with, you have to study. My best advice from the jump, from the get-go, is go for go for a woman that's compatible with you. I'm not saying y'all have to have the exact same problems, but I'm saying, you know, if you work at Starbucks, right? Don't go for a girl that used to work at Magic City. See, so it's like this. Now this goes to the men, all right? If you see a beautiful woman, you have a choice how to look at it. You know, I'm not saying you can't check her out, and I'm definitely not saying that if you're aroused by how beautiful she is, by, you know, her body or whatever, I'm not saying that that's wrong. You're not wrong for being aroused, right? That's kind of natural, right? Being very sarcastic right now, if you can't tell. But it's how you choose to see it. It's your intentions behind that. See, to tell you the truth, you know, if you're a player, you probably already know this, but you know, it's too late, you know, anyway, because you're already in the game. But for those that don't know, you know, women actually are more attracted to a guy that can see a beautiful woman and not really trip. It's not, they don't react greatly to seeing a beautiful woman. The more beautiful and less that man reacts, you know, the more curious beautiful women in that area get about that gentleman. And it's not even the fact that he's respecting her. To her, she's saying, well, you know what? This dude, he's used to that. He must be around a lot of beautiful women. He must be successful. See? And ladies, you know, if you're used to dudes, you know, turning their heads whenever they see you, and you know a guy approaches you, just pay attention to the signs. Pay attention, you know. Does this guy remind you of someone that that's in a certain movie, right? And how did that situation end up? Were they happily ever after? Usually the movies keep it real. They put everything in the movies for you to look out for, and a lot of ladies don't look out for those things, even if it's in the movies. You've seen in the very movie how this dude looks, how he goes about his ways, how he gets down, and you've seen how that story ended up. They were not happy. You see this dude in real life, you're like, oh, this is real. Oh, this is happening. Oh, this is really happening. And then he does the same thing and you're surprised. You're hurt. See? So you have to look for the signs. You have to look for the signs. And if you want a guy that he has the look, but he carries himself a different way, and he'll actually treat you in that way that you're looking for, you gotta study him out. You have to study him out. You have to know what you're looking for. Cleopatra, ladies. Cleopatra. Check that series out. Fellas, subscribe that to your ladies. Subscribe that. Share that with your ladies, get that to them. And make sure that they see that. Because there's a lot of powerful stuff in there. And it's a lot of stuff that could really change the game right now. Change how things are. And back to the fellas, this is heavy. This is heavy, man. If you see a girl twerking, she's with her friends, she's twerking, at a party or whatever, you don't have to tell yourself, well, I wonder how long it'll take me to hit. See? It's easier to get out the game early than to stay in it, enjoy the game, and then try to figure out how to get out once the game, stuck all those knives in you. Trust me, the game does not attack everybody the same way. Just because you don't have kids doesn't mean that you're not going to catch something. Just because you haven't caught anything doesn't mean that you're not going to end up with kids. Just because you haven't caught anything or ended up with kids doesn't mean that one of these girls aren't plotting against you. The game attacks people in different ways. Why are you playing it, man? Why are you trying to play the game? Why are you trying to beat the game? You got two kind of men out there, alright? I'll put it like this: you have two males out there. All right, you have the grown boy, the grown boy, right? He makes immature decisions. He hasn't grown. He hasn't become a man. He makes decisions off of emotion, right? He sees a beautiful girl, he feels a certain way, he says, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with what I feel. Right? That gentleman is trying to beat the game. Then you have the man that overcomes. He overcomes his situations. He has grown from the decisions that he makes. He makes decisions based on logic, wisdom, and common sense. He reaps the reward of those things, and he wins every time. The grown boy tries to beat the game. The grown man tries to beat the system. The grown boy tries to beat the game. The grown man tries to beat the system. And it shows in your stride. Whenever you go places, you may have a circle, people that you kick it with, and it shows in your stride. Whenever you leave your group and these guys start talking, they start dialoguing, right? It's not even about gossip. They're just trying to figure out, what's the weaknesses in this circle? Who's holding the torch right now? Who's the man right now? Right? When your name comes up, if you're a little boy, you're not gonna get much respect. And if the whole circle is filled with little boys, right? Or grown boys, I should probably say, right? Then, everyone's gonna talk about each other's faults, but you won't get respect. If you're all together on this dumb stuff, you're still not gonna get respect. Now, if you're the only grown man in that circle, I'm not saying you need to shake the circle. If those are people that you really care about, you don't just leave people that you care about just because you want to, move up in life or whatever. No, you can leave them for a second, for a time, and then come back and bring them up with you, but don't just, that's a side note. Say if you're the only man in that circle, right? And they'll say they're young, they're little boy stuff, right? They're young stuff, they're dumb stuff. But it'll be because they respect you. It'll be because they respect you and they're too insecure to just admit that they respect you. So they'll clown on you, but it's out of respect. And when life hits them, when the game starts stabbing those knives in them, right? They're gonna come to you for advice. Yeah. I'm speaking by experience on this one. First of all, I'll say I don't really have a lot of circles. And every circle, I haven't been in much circles where, it was just grown boys in the circle. I can't see myself associating with too many immature cats. I don't have it on my time. I don't have it, on my patience. It's not, I can't do it. But I've dealt with certain cats where, either at work or colleagues or business partners, whatever, where, they're grown boys and had to. So I'm speaking by experience, But, it's small stuff. You see a beautiful girl, she hits the gym and she got her shape on point. She brought the booty out, right? She's wearing those leggings, right? And you see her. You do not have to say how long will it take for me to get her in the bed. It's possible to see that woman. I challenge you. Every young man that's listening to this, I'm challenging you. I'm challenging your manhood. Put your manhood to the test. This is my challenge to you. Next time you see a beautiful woman, yeah, that's a turn on. Yeah, it's arousing. All of that. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you're checking her out. Nothing wrong with that. But I challenge you to tell yourself to say, wow, she's a beautiful girl. I wonder what it would take for me to marry a girl like that. And for her to stay in my home, I wonder what I would have to know, what I would have to learn to not just get that girl, but keep her. And to know that she ain't going nowhere. I bet you there's cats listening to this right now. Some of you are probably listening, probably squirming and just tripping out to this. But this is real, because if you think about it, you call yourself a player, right? You call yourself a pimp, you say you got game, right? Well, put your game to the test. Put your game to the test, because if you really had game, you wouldn't just know enough about a woman to sleep with her. You would know enough about that woman and how to learn about that woman to get her and to keep her. It's where you're with her 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, and she's still good with you. It's still on. You guys are newlyweds every day. It's possible. It's possible. And fellas, it's the ball is in your court. Ladies, if you're still listening, you're the co-pilots in this. You're the co-pilots, but you guys have been the pilots for so long, because a lot of the men here in this country, they're not real men, and they depend on you to do the men's stuff in the relationship. See, and fellas, we gotta step up, man. We gotta step up. I'm hearing a lot of people tell the women, they're saying, you guys have the power, you guys have the key, you guys have the. Well, yeah, they can reject us from, getting that highway to heaven, right? But when it comes to the home, the man is the head. And see, one thing that both parties should understand is that if the man is doing his job, he don't have to ask for nothing. I'm not saying that, she can't reject him. No, she always has the freedom. She always has a say-so. She always has the authority to do what she wants with her body, right? But naturally, this is how the family unit is supposed to be ran. If that man is doing his job, if the king is doing his job, if he's doing things right, she's gonna want to every time. Fellas, if your girl doesn't want to, if your wife doesn't want to, right? If you're not even married, then this doesn't even go for you. If you're just shacking up, this don't even go for you. I'm sorry. You gotta throw a ring on it for there to be some kind of. That's just how it is. It's spiritual, and an hour is not long enough for me to go into all of that. All right, keep checking out my videos. I'll definitely break that down for you, but and I'll allow the Lord to get that to you. But it's that's heavy. This is heavy stuff. Fellas, if you're with your girl and she's mad at you, she's not happy with you, it's not her fault that she's happy with you. That she's not happy with you. Is she ungrateful? Maybe. But you can't tell me that what some punk dudes did to her in her past has more authority than what you do for her in your own home. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that you're gonna let some other punk peasant have power over you in your kingdom, in your own, and over you and your queen in your own kingdom. You can't tell me that. I can't see that. For me, if I don't hook up with a girl that has been hurt by men over and over, right? It's not because I wouldn't know how to handle my business. It's because I choose not to. It's because that's a business that I just don't want to get into, because I choose. See? And that's something that I actually have to battle with every day, because I know that I'll be able to please whatever woman that I may hook up with and throw a ring on that finger. I know I'll be able to please her day in and day out. We'll be like newlyweds every day. I don't care what issues she got. I don't care if her roommate was Emily Rose. I don't care. If
Petah Parka.
If I'm with them, I'm the king now. And that's only gonna work because I know who my God is. See? So you have to know that part too. But it's like this, fellas, you know, this is, a lot of y'all don't know, you know, the power that you have. You don't know the authority that you hold, the responsibility that you hold when you become the man in a woman's life. You don't even understand what it means to be the man in a woman's life. You're taking on the title of king. Ladies, if you're listening, you're hearing this, and I want you to hear this and have hope that there are men out there that can be your king and could be king-like. I'll go back to the twerking example. I'm really staying on this because I might do a couple of videos just on that, because there's a mentality that needs to be broken out here. See, but I'll get back to the twerking example. You know, out here in this country, say there's a get together, there's a party, right? And a group of beautiful women are twerking, right? Out here, the men are gonna have very sensual, very sexual thoughts about those women. Reason why is because it's implemented in our minds from the TV, from the magazines, and not saying just seeing the beautiful women, but sex is associated with everything now. You can't even talk to a man today and say certain things without it going to sexual things. But if you go to Africa, where that dance was originated, right, and a group of beautiful women start twerking, which are going to be the best twerkers in the world, let's keep it real, they still got it. You can't out twerk Africans, right? But say they start twerking, these men they're still going to sip their coffee, they're still going to mingle, and then they're going to check the women out, and they're going to say, oh wow, yeah, she knows what she's doing, right? And then they'll leave it at that. Not because they're used to it, not because the culture, but because it's not implemented in their mind that they gotta screw everything they see. See, they don't have any rappers with gold chains rapping about how many women they slept with. And to tell you the truth, Africa is still the land of the kings and queens. They have kings out there. If anybody's seen coming back to America, That was not fictional. That's real stuff. The story was fictional, but it was based on real stuff. You know, kings, there's still men out there that are bathed by a number of women, right? There's still kings out there that have a number of wives, but it's just that the mentality is just different. It's not, you don't have to screw everything that you see. You know, this is very simple stuff, but it hasn't been heard in so long, and I'm serving it to you in a way that no one else really has the guts to serve it to you, unless, you know, they if no one really has the guts to serve it to you like this and then put the word in there. No one that's word based has the guts to bring this to you. That's why the churches aren't, you know, as full as they should be, or if they're full, it's for different reasons, or if they're full, a lot of this stuff is going on that shouldn't be happening in the church. If you use your imagination, right? Because no one's talking about this stuff, right? I think if these pastors talked about sex half as much as they talk about money, I think there'll be less fornication in the church. I think there'll be less adultery in the church. You know, if it's been, you've been preaching for 50 years, you've been preaching for 100 years, and you still talking about how God could make you rich and how you could get money from the Lord by believing in the Lord, and then you just throw little niblets in there on how, you know, you shouldn't shack up, or you shouldn't sleep with, you know, another man's wife. It's still gonna go on, it's still gonna happen. So it's gonna happen in your very church. That's not a bad confession. That's real. That's what's going on. That's why it's going on. See. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys with that. I have much more to say, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Take care. Love you guys. Subscribe, like everything, share, do everything to this video, and stay wise.